everybody else. All right, so we're coming to the last question, and I started this interview thing with quarantine. So I always have like one quarantine related question in there because that's why I did it. So this has obviously been very challenging for everyone, but I think especially for the arts industry. So I was just thinking, as an artist, what have you learned from quarantine? How are you, I guess, adjusting to it as an artist and to the idea of, the industry changing because of Corona? And yeah, just like your thoughts.
It's true. I mean, here in Nashville, it's been very obvious. Like, we've suffered some losses because I think a lot of musicians, we thrive on being on stage, we thrive on being in community. And when that gets taken away, there are repercussions. I think for me personally, because I had a baby 3 years ago, and so a lot of my life has been in isolation just because, when you're a new mom, you don't get to go out as much and you kind of have to
Yeah.
you have to plan ahead of time if you want to, get out and do your thing. So I didn't really feel a huge impact, in terms of the way that I was living my life. So I felt like I was positioned really well to kind of to weather this storm, maybe a lot easier than maybe other people who were, you know, their lives were really integrated with going out all the time and just having that freedom. But that said, I think it's really important for artists to be able to sort of sit with themselves and go inward and really get in touch with who they are when they don't have all of that. And I think we can really come to identify ourselves with our achievements. We can come to identify ourselves with how other people validate us, how productive we are. And so I think for me, it's actually been really good because I used to sort of have FOMO. It's like I had a new baby and I was like, oh, the world's going on without me and I'm not able to,
Yeah. Yeah.
be as productive and I'm not getting things done. And now that's like, okay, well, that's everybody's reality now. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm sort of getting like, I'm okay with the fact that like my life is my life is my work of art and I don't want to spend it like feeling inadequate because I'm not achieving. And so I'm sort of trying to recalibrate how I create and know that like I'm inherently valuable. I'm inherently, you know, I have these skills and talents, but they're not my identity per se.
Yeah.
Like, and so sort of like detaching from my identity as an artist and then just like coming to a space of creation from, like I said, sort of the joy of it and the feeling
Yeah.
like, okay, I actually just need to do this because it's what makes me feel alive, not because I need to put out another single or put out a new piece of content and make sure people know that I'm still here. And I've
Yeah.
actually been more productive, I think, with that new frame of mind. I had sort of gotten myself into a negative headspace, feeling like I needed to kind of keep up. So I think there's been many gifts from this quarantine. Obviously, it's been really hard, and the longer it goes, I think the harder it gets to sort of find the silver lining. But
Yeah.
I really encourage artists to kind of just like surrender to what it is, not be in resistance to it, and let it be a space of incubation where ideas. I really look to nature to kind of like help me make sense of my life and ideas need to root down and they need to be nourished and then that's how they grow and turn into
Yeah.
a little seedling and then into a flower. And so um, yeah, I think we live in seasons and we live in times where we're less outward, projecting ourselves outward, and then there's times where we are in the spotlight. And so this sort of collective time where we're just kind of like incubating and getting to know ourselves apart from whatever achievements we've come to identify with, I think is really healthy. And I'm
Yeah.
excited for when we can get back out there to sort of see what everybody has been working on and creating. And if it's not anything, that's fine too. I think
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
releasing the expectation.